this is all new to me. Right? I've been in US for the last 25 years. So it's interesting, exciting, challenging. See, when I contested, I was a member of parliament. I did not expect that I would get a central minister position. So at that time, I was planning to be in the constituency for the large part. But now, being offered this one, of course, I have to be in Delhi. Modi ji had told us, Monday to Friday, we must be in Delhi. I was part of a farming family. We used to have this biogas and everything. So we used to collect all this cow dung and everything. So that rural I was in my first 10 years of life. Rural development is nothing but common sense. There are a lot of smart people, secretaries, they give all the information that we need. There are so many factors that that created this historic win. One, the party, Telugu Desam party, was strong in that area to start with. It's a capital region. There is a lot of injustice was done for the capital region. So people were angry to start with. That was the time internet was coming. I was sitting in a library. There was a nice computer. So I said, forget about these books. Let me put it online and see. We created a small PayPal gateway at that time with a $75 investment. And then people liked it and they were accessing online. That's how the business started. There are a lot of people who are richer than me, in my view, in this parliament or in any other area, but they may not be able to show the way I can show, right? I'm pretty sure there are a lot more richer people than me in politics. The Chandrababu Naidu sir, or for us, or for Andhra people, we want a visible development, not a verbal development.
Welcome back to our ongoing talk show, The Interview, and our popular segment, Coffee on Sunday, which we resume as promised we would after the elections. The new parliament is in place and the government has been sworn in. There are many new faces, young MPs and interesting ministers, first-timers and also some well-known ones. We will, in the course of the next few weeks, attempt to bring you face to face with the new lot and speak to them about their journey and the road ahead. We will also speak to non-political people and achievers in other fields. So stand by for interesting insights in successive editions of Coffee on Sunday in our ongoing talk show, The Interview. He is the richest MP in the current Lok Sabha. Thanks to the BJP-TDP alliance, today he is a union minister. We are talking about none other than Dr. Chandra Sekhar Pemmasani, an NRI turned politician turned minister. He has a fleet of cars, but whether he would drive to his office in a Rolls-Royce remains to be seen. How would he manage his business empire as a minister? How would he divide time between the US and India, or would he still remain an outsider politician? These are questions likely to haunt Dr. Chandra Sekhar even as he settles down as a minister in the Modi government. We speak to him and take him and our viewers through his interesting and challenging journey. Dr. Chandra Sekhar Pemmasani in this edition of Coffee on Sunday. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chandra Sekhar Pemmasani, and thank you for being here with us. Congratulations on your win and being inducted as minister.
Thank you, ma'am.
So let me ask you, how do you feel being in Delhi, leaving US, leaving your state, coming to Delhi, being here as a minister? How do you feel? And how did you feel about your win?
Obviously the winning was quite historic, right? Before in Guntur, there was never this much majority. This was highest in the history. And then regarding coming to Delhi, this is all new to me. Right? I've been in US for the last 25 years. So it's interesting, exciting, challenging, but I'm always looking for more challenges, diversifying my knowledge, learning new things. So this is all along the lines of what I expected.
But tell me that you speak about your spending 85% or probably 100% of the time in US, and now from there to settling in Delhi, not even your state, how would that work? How would you adjust? Isn't it a tightrope walk?
In any given year, I'm here. I was here almost 3 months. My daughter was studying in Hyderabad, so we would be traveling. So this is not something unusual for us or new to us. But now it will be a lot more time. At some point when I made this call, I have decided that I would be staying here much, much longer than before.
Staying in India, but not Delhi.
No, staying in Delhi, right? See, when I contested, I was a member of parliament. I did not expect that I would get a central minister position. So at that time, I was planning to be in the constituency for the large part. But now, being offered this one, of course, I have to be in Delhi. Modi ji had told us, Monday to Friday, we must be in Delhi. But, regardless whether he tells or not, it is my responsibility to be in Delhi to do the justice for my position.
Are you happy about the two ministries that you have got?
Absolutely. See, even though my experience has been in healthcare, right? But if you look at my history, I built this company, UWorld. It was started for medicine, but we diversified into law, accounting, finance, all these fields that were not known to me. And I learned most of those fields. I like challenges. Actually, I get bored if I am doing the same thing again and again for a certain period of time. So telecommunication, I was there for almost 8 hours. On the first day, yesterday, rural development, 8 hours. A lot of interesting stuff, new stuff, quite exciting.
Communication, I can understand. You're young, tech savvy. But rural development, from being in the US, writing papers for students, getting into education, from there to the heat and dust of the villages or rural development, how would you adapt to that?
See, I grew up until my 7th grade in a rural village. I was part of a farming family. And I did so much that most people can't even imagine. We used to have this biogas and everything. So we used to collect all this cow dung and everything. So that rural I was in my first 10 years of life. And then, rural development is nothing but common sense in my view. There are a lot of smart people, secretaries, they give all the information that we need. And I also campaigned extensively over the last 3 months before the elections. And I know most of the farming problems in general also.
You said your win was kind of historic.
Yes.
So tell me why, tell me how it happened, and who do you attribute that to?
There are so many factors that created this historic win. One, the party, Telugu Desam party, was strong in that area to start with. It's a capital region. There is a lot of injustice was done for the capital region. So people were angry to start with. And then we have this Janasena, Pawan Kalyan sir, the party. He has a lot of fan base in that area especially. So combination of those two, and there is a lot of vote bank for BJP as well. These three combination created to certain extent. And then I also took extensive campaign. Whatever I spoke, people really felt like I was part of their family. I was genuine, I was honest, and I was open, a little bit different from the traditional politics. And they knew I did not come here for, more money.
While talking of money, I'll come to your being the richest a little later. But when you left India and when you went to the US, you were under debt.
Yes.
Tell me about that time. Tell me about the cow dung days, picking up cow dung. Tell me about those experiences.
See, obviously we were at the lower economic strata when we grow up. In India, farming, and even when you do the businesses, sometimes you don't have the right capital. When you don't have the capital and you don't have security assets to get the capital at low interest rates, typically, those days they would take from other people, right? Financing people, you take at high interest rates, and this interest gets accumulated. And if you are not able to repay in a timely manner, you can generate, enormous amount of debt. That's how it was. But after I went there, I was fortunate to get this business running very quickly.
But you went there to do medicine, and you also worked as a doctor. From there to get into business, how did that happen? Was it you got up one fine morning and said, okay, let me now give up my practice and let me start business?
No, it was not. This is not how it was started. When I was studying for this, it was hard for me and it was quite expensive. At that time, I paid almost $5,000, if I remember correctly, in year 2000. And obviously, I didn't have money, so I had to borrow from my relatives. So I paid so much money, and it did help me to a certain extent, but not, worth it the amount of money that I paid. I thought I could do much better.
So, what did you do? Did you start teaching or did you start writing papers?
No, I started writing. Because I would see patients in the hospital morning, 5, 6 o'clock. And then whatever the patients I have seen on that day, I take up that real life scenarios and put it in more practical for people who haven't seen the patients to learn that way. So that kind of practical case-based approach is what gave so much success.
So, you started writing papers, and then how did that get into business? And I believe you also helped those who didn't have medical insurance.
Once I wrote that one, I sent it to almost 100 publishers across all the United States. At that time, most publishers did not respond. There was only one publisher responded. Then that was the time internet was coming. I was sitting in a library. There was a nice computer. So I said, forget about these books. Let me put it online and see. Then we typed everything. Me, my wife, my brother-in-law, my brother, 4 of us worked together and put it online. We created a small PayPal gateway at that time with a $75 investment. And then people liked it and they were accessing online. That's how the business started. It was never with the idea, I want to build the greatest business. The sole intention was to help people so that they can understand better the same struggle that I went should not be to the rest of the people. That was the idea.
And then how did it expand?
So then people started liking it. They were telling their friends, friends were telling them. So actually, without any marketing and sales people, we captured literally 100% of all the doctors were using our product. Then there was no other doctor to sell our product. Then what else we can do? Then we did it nursing 1 year, and then the following year pharmacy. And then we consult all the schools were using. We got 100% market share. Then we thought, okay, we built all these systems. We have all this knowledge. Why only medicine? Why can't we help lawyers, accountants, finance people? Even for them, they were not passing the exams. They were struggling. We thought the same way we teach medicine could be taught in other areas. And then we expanded into all those areas and we were quite successful.
You are a very private person. And when I was talking to your wife and asking about children, she said, no, please leave my children out, which I respect. You yourself said, I will talk a little about my personal life, but I don't want people treading personal ground. I understand all that. How will you now handle the public glare? And now you are a public person. So how are you going to do that tightrope walking?
You see, I grew up from a different life cycle. Other kids may not have the same when their DNA and their destiny is different than ours, right? Each person's DNA works differently. So I don't want to put the same kind of pressure on them.
And pressure on you and handling public glare as a minister, and that to rural development and communication.
See, for me, usually there won't be pressure. It's very hard to put pressure on me in general because I'm quite proactive. Building something from zero to a multi-billion-dollar company is not, I didn't take outside investment, outside mentorship. We don't have board members. We built it. So I'm not shy.
Did you expect to be a minister? And that also with 2 portfolios?
No, I did not expect this. I came with an ideology. We wanted to dethrone the YSR government at that time because they were not doing what they were supposed to. So we wanted to be a pro-development government. My sole intention was to get the pro-government into the Andhra Pradesh and serve with my capacity, whatever I can do, and I should be a role model to a lot of the young people. Just like how I started my business, right? I never look at the outcomes. I only look at the journey, what I want to do, and the rest will come.
So how would you describe your journey, both in business and in politics?
My wife says I'm like a robo. I get up in the morning, very 5:30 maximum. I work out and then go to the office. It's by 10:30 I go to bed. No bad habits, it's no weaknesses. I want to help as many people as possible in my lifetime.
So from poverty, from being poor, from being under debt, from collecting cow dung in villages, in your village, to being the richest MP, how does it work? Assets worth 5,000 plus crores.
See, wealth never went into our head. It was just as we were doing, the wealth got accumulated. A lot of this is, we invest whenever you make some money, you invest in some real estate or some stocks and you forget about them, right? For me, wealth means nothing. It's only transitory in my view. To live happily, you don't need more than 10, 20 crores.
Yes, but the tagline has been the richest MP in Parliament.
See, what I want to tell is, in US, everything is 100% white, right? My entire source of income is white money. You pay 42, 43% tax depending on your brackets. That is what it is, There are a lot of people who are richer than me, in my view, in this parliament or in any other area.
No, you are the richest.
But they may not be able to show the way I can show, right? I'm pretty sure there are a lot more richer people than me in politics.
Who've concealed their income.
I wouldn't say that, but it's up to them. But I'm pretty confident there are a lot more assets. Like our Jagan Mohan Reddy in Andhra Pradesh, I'm pretty sure he has a lot more assets than me, but he just unfortunately cannot show it.
We promised not to discuss politics, and I will keep my word. But however, let me ask you, your father admired N.T. Ramarao, and you have a special bond, if I may use that term, with Chandrababu Naidu.
Yes.
Just tell me about both.
See, N.T. Ramarao sir, he started the party with such an ideology that was revolutionary. Even when we grew up, we saw how he changed the entire system. And then when Chandrababu Naidu sir came, that's the time I was growing up. I was in medical school and we were seeing how dynamic he was. That's why I always admire his work. In my view, I think Modi ji and Chandrababu Naidu sir are some of the most hardworking, political leaders.
With different ideologies.
With different ideology, that's a different story. But they are extremely hardworking. They have a lot of patience. They sacrificed their lives. If Chandrababu Naidu sir wanted to run as like a businessman, probably he would have been one of the richest businessmen with the amount of hard work, the vision, everything that he has. That's why, for the sacrifices that he has made, I admire him.
For both of you, as I've heard you, and of course we know about Mr. Naidu, the state is of utmost importance. It's priority. Against that backdrop, how important is the issue of special status to Andhra relevant?
At the end of the day, we want the development. Whether we call it special status or something else, it's a different story. We want to build the state, Andhra Pradesh, on par with rest of the states, whatever was developed, or probably beyond. That was our sole intention. We will do this in a friendly manner. We will support the NDA and we will be part of building India, and at the same time, we want to build Andhra Pradesh.
So to say, give us special status may not be the issue, but the fact is, develop our state is what the focus shift will be.
See, at the end of the day, whatever the nomenclature you or somebody can come, but for us, the Chandrababu Naidu sir, or for us, or for Andhra people, we want a visible development, not a verbal development, a visible development. That is all we strive for. As long as there is a visible development, people will be happy.
Coming from a poor family, and I keep going back to that because your journey has been very interesting. What have been your takeaways? What have been your struggles? What have been your challenges? And what is that one incident which has impacted you to take a diversion from a normal journey to an extraordinary one?
I can tell you one incident. See, my cousin, we grew up together and he died when I was around that, age 20, around this time of medical school and all that stuff. That had a profound impact on me. At that time, I realized that life is temporary. Every day has to be meaningful, impactful, purposeful. Deaths really infused a lot of spirituality, philosophical, the big picture of life.
And fear?
No, not really a fear. I'm not fearful that someday, everybody has to go. There is no fear in me, but that spiritual, positive, doing, helping kind of attitude is what changed me, and that's how I work every day.
In fact, I was coming to that because you said you joined politics to give back to the society. But much before you joined politics, you had started giving back to the society. So why politics, which actually is a game of compromises?
Yeah. So there are two ways to look at it, right? Compared to the wealth that I have, to what I have given is minuscule. Ideally, I should be giving a lot more. And as an NGO and other stuff, you can only influence, right? Today, you would not have interviewed me even if I have the biggest NGO. You are interviewing me because I became a central minister. Now I am a lot more powerful. I can call anybody and I can tell them. In politics, if you have a really good intention, you can do quite a bit, which I want to show to the world. You can really do the politics without lying, without cheating people, and being upfront. Compromise, yes, in life, in general, it's all about give and take. Sometimes you have to achieve your long-term goals and dreams, but and life is nothing will be straight line. It will be like up and downs.
But power also corrupts.
Not everybody. I don't think everybody is corrupt. Modi ji is completely clean. There are a lot of people. Chauhan ji is very clean. There are a lot of people that are not corrupt, right? Fortunately, the God has given me enough wealth, right? If I ask for more, even God will not forgive me. You may not trust me now, but over a period, next few years, you will understand who I am.
No, I trust that you have a clean record. You have a clean slate to begin with. But there is, and if you'll allow me to ask, an FIR registered against you about illegal money being given in elections.
There was only one case where we did one campaign without the permission. That was also they told me they took the permission, local MLA, but when I went to the van, they said I didn't have a permission. That was the one and only case that was also unintentional.
The more the money, the higher the liabilities. And I'm told yours are 1,000+ crore liabilities. Is that right?
See, the liability is nothing. We recently acquired a business, large business, and we took some loan for that. We're going to pay it off. It was just 25% or something of my net worth.
Of the many cars that you have, will you drive to your office in your Rolls Royce as a minister?
Actually, my brother and my wife gave that to me as a surprise for my 40th birthday. That's how I acquired a Rolls Royce.
So, are you going to drive in that to your office, to your government office in Delhi?
I don't have it here. It's in US. That car was in US, not in India.
Your predecessor, Jaidev Galla, said that he suffered and left politics because his speaking out on various issues cost him dearly. Would you then take that advice and probably speak less or maybe keep a low profile, and would you do things differently?
If there is something going wrong, I would definitely speak just like Galla Jaidev, if needed, even more than that. I would not compromise if there is a public issue. There will not be any compromise on that.
You have said elections are expensive and out of reach for a common man.
Yes.
You've been a giver. When papers were difficult for students, you wrote out. Will you take up a campaign where you may finance, irrespective of the party, elections for a good, deserving, but someone who cannot afford?
See, it's not about one or two individuals. As long as you have this cash in the system, it is very hard to control. The only way is you have to do systemic changes. Right now, it's quite expensive. A normal person cannot contest in these elections in a fair way. That is the truth.
So, are you going to take up that issue at some point?
Yes, there are a lot of issues. This is one of them, absolutely. Educated people are not coming to vote, right? 50-60% polling. Once you have all the intellectual people coming into the electoral process in a convenient way, then you don't have to go to the bottom of the strata where poverty is high. That is where the money distribution, liquor distribution is all happening at whoever right? Because you don't have these 40% of intellectuals not voting, and you have 60% of this defined population, and everybody is trying to get their vote. So one is doing more that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of these systemic changes, taking away cash, putting the digital voting, and ensuring a 95 to 100% voting into the system. Automatically, the system should eliminate these kind of expensive politics. Then more people would be able to join the politics and they can contest in a fair way.
During your elections back home, you had 3 flats, one to stay, the other to receive visitors, and the third to feed them. How are you going to handle the crowds in Delhi, which will multiply One, because you're a minister, and second, a minister with two portfolios.
See, I don't think I will get that many people here, right? Their local constituency, we have almost 18 lakh voters. There, the number of the crowd is much higher. It's far from here. Not many people would come. I think it's quite manageable.
You are described as an outsider politician, someone who lives in the US, who has been living there, and then coming here and now occupying center space.
No, I am not an out. See, I grew up here for 25 years. I came here every month, every year, 3 months. And my entire heart is here, and I never changed my passport. For 25 years, I could have become an American citizen 20 years back. Your American passport will have a lot of advantages. You don't need visa for any country to visit, and the country protects you if something happens. See, my heart and my blood, everything goes around India, right? So I never feel like I'm an outsider.
Your expertise is education, your heart is in health. Don't you think you're in the wrong ministry?
No, that's what I'm telling you. So it is all about solving the human problems. Yeah, actually, sometimes when you take a different ministry, you look at the problems from a completely different perspective. You start from the scratch. I think in many times that might be a good strategy as well.
Finally, before I let you go, let me ask you, how would you manage politics and business, given that remaining in business actually is a conflict of interest?
Yes. You are right about that. See, so mine is a multi-billion-dollar big business, but you can't do it like one day, right? So definitely I will be transitioning.
Looking back, what would you have done differently or not done at all?
No, actually, I'm quite happy with my life, the way I grew up. Had I been born in a rich family, probably I would not have the same hunger and determination to be successful. If I would want perfectly this way.
Let me, in the end, break my promise and try and ask you a political question. What about the speaker's post? Would the TDP push for it?
I don't know about that. That is beyond my level. Only Chandrababu sir can answer those things.
Dr. Chandra Sekhar, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.